lunch and dinner rush, Kelly caught that outbound bus for Vegas. And we're all out here talking trash, making bets, lips wrapped round our cigarettes. She always thought that she was too good to be a waitress. We all say that we'll quit someday. When our ship comes in, we'll just sail away. But we're just blowing smoke. Hey, yeah, we're just blowing smoke. Hey, yeah, out here going broke. Hey, yeah, we're just blowing smoke. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Blowin Smoke by Kacey Musgraves. This is a really, really good beginner's guitar song because it's only got two chords, A chord and D chord. It's nice and slow, can have really simple strumming and still work. So it's a really, really nice one to play along with the original recording. And there's some nice gaps in it as well. We'll let you gather your thoughts while you're playing along. So, as I mentioned, the only chords that we need here are A and D chord. Now, if you're not sure how to play those chords or you're struggling to change between them, please check out the lessons on the beginner's course on my website. You'll find there's plenty of information there to help you get those chord changes nice and fast, because that's what you want before you can start playing your tunes, right? You definitely want to be able to do the chord changes without pausing between them, right? It's a really big deal. You don't want to be kind of strumming your way and then stopping and getting the next chord down. You really want to try and iron that out, you know. But this kind of tune can be good for getting there. Okay, so you can use songs as a kind of vehicle for practicing as well. But what you want to do is make sure that the strumming hand doesn't stop. Okay, so this song again, this is 1 bar of A, 1 bar of D, 1 bar of A, 1 bar of D for most of the song, not all of the way through. There's a few pauses and stuff, but that's generally the form. Okay, so what you want to do whenever you're playing a tune like this is to start with simple down strums on the beat. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 down strums. Okay, so A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then change to the D chord. And you don't want a gap there. You've got to make sure that that strumming stays nice and consistent while you make the chord change. Okay, if you can't do that, you need to get on work on some 1-minute changes. You might find using an anchor finger helps as well. Loads of lessons on my site on the beginner's course, so go and check it out. That'll make a big difference. So once you feel confident with your changes between the A and the D and you don't have to pause that rhythm, I definitely recommend having a go at playing along with the original recording. It's loads of fun. And what you'll hear, if you listen to the original recording, you'll hear a big drum. It's like a doof, doof sound. Excuse my terrible beatboxing, but a big fat low drum, a kick drum or a bass drum. And that's right on the beat at the beginning, right? The guitars play a kind of riff, so if you can kind of ignore that and just concentrate on that drum, that'll tell you where your beat is. And then you want to just start. So listening out for that kick drum and then start to strum along with the A. And there goes to a D chord. Back to the A. Back to the D. I think it might even be a little bit slower than this, but let's stay here now. So for the A chord, between the lunch and dinner rush, D chord, Kelly caught that outbound bus for A chord. And then to D again. We're all out here, A chord trash, making bets, D wrapped round our cigarettes. She A chord, thought that she was too good to be a D chord. And then we're into the pre-chorus, so we got A. We all say that we'll D quit someday. When our A chord ship comes in, we'll just D sail away for 1, 2, but we're just blowing A chord. Hey D, we're just blowing A chord. Hey D chord, out here going A chord. To a D chord, but we're just blowing A, 2, 3, 4. Smoke, 2, 3, 4, and then we're back into the next verse again. So the one bit that might be a little bit confusing is the stop. Now generally just listening is the best way of solving these problems. If you just listen to the original track and try and play along, you'll sort it out. You don't need to worry about the counting. But if you're finding that a little bit tricky, I'm going to explain the count to you now just to make sure that you've really got it down. So if I go, this is the last line of the pre-chorus, and it goes from the A chord and it goes, a ship comes in, we'll just sail away, but we're just blowing smoke. Okay, it's going into the chorus there. Now, it is just straight, it's the A chord for 1 bar and then 2 bars of D. Okay, but what's happening on the D chord, you're strumming on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're onto the A chord. Okay, so it's still got 4 beats in the bar. We're stopping on beat 3 and letting the chord ring out for the 3 and the 4 and the whole 1, 2, 3, 4 of the next bar. Okay, again, so when our A ship comes in, we'll just sail away, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, but we're just blowing smoke. Okay, now if you're singing along, a good little trick for this bit that might help is to start counting the 4 from when you say sail away. Okay, so you're counting in the kind of the wrong place, but it'll help you get the gap right. So for that one, when we start with the A chord, when our ship comes in, we'll just sail away, 2, 3, 4, but we're just blowing A. Okay, just because the gap is for 4 beats. Okay, so have a think about it, have a listen to it. Again, listening's such a big deal. If you listen to it, you'll always get the answer, right? So once you got to grips with those gaps, I definitely recommend just playing along with the original song a few times and getting used to the feel of it, making sure you got those chord changes nice and sweet. Now, this kind of song can take lots of different strumming patterns, and particularly because the chord changes are pretty simple, it's a good one to experiment with other strumming patterns as you're learning them as well. But probably the best basic strumming pattern that you could do for this one would be down, 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 up, down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so just if we start there on the A, it'd be this: 1, 2, 3, and 4 to D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Really, really nice, simple pattern this. And again, it'll work great with the original recording. So that would be next stage, would be to have a go at doing that strumming pattern. Again, if you're worried about your strumming patterns, you want to segment things, okay? Break them down. So a good thing to practice with that strumming pattern would just be to mute all of the strings. Wrap your hand right around the strings so that they don't sound, and then practice going 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even doing that along with the original recording is a really good idea. Okay, it'll really help you get the rhythm without worrying about the chords, and then go back and start adding the chords in as you feel confident with the rhythm, because rhythm's got to be automatic. You don't want to have to think about it too much, okay? That's really, really important. Rhythm is more important than the chords sounding good. I know that sounds like a bit of a dodgy statement, but honestly, it's true. If you keep the rhythm nice and strong, you can get away with all sorts of little foibles in the chord department. Now, if you wanted to take it up a gear, okay, so this is no longer in the kind of the beginner realm now, okay? If you want to take it up a gear, the strumming pattern that I think sounds really nice with this for acoustic guitar is to be playing all down strum 8th notes. So going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but all downs, okay? So on the A chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now if you're doing this kind of 8th note pattern, I've mentioned it in other videos, but in case you haven't seen those, the last 8th note, the and after 4, is usually open strings while you change chords, right? So on the A it'll be, if I slow it down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, I know it sounds weird on its own at a slow tempo, but as soon as you speed it up, sounds fine. In fact, it almost sounds kind of, if you didn't have it, it sounds kind of wrong, okay? So don't be worried about having that little gap there. If you're using your anchor finger for your, leaving your first finger down, changing between the A and the D, then leave it down still. It doesn't matter if you 2, 3, totally fine. Okay, so don't be fussed about that sort of thing. The next level of doing that would be to add an accent on beats 2 and 4. So having 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just adding that little bit of accent straight away makes it sound a little bit kind of cooler, and gives it, again, being relaxed and trying to let it feel easy and nice is really important. It'll make people who are listening to you play feel nice and relaxed if you're nice and relaxed. So it's definitely something to think about. I know it's hard to force yourself to be relaxed, but try and get yourself into that zone where you just feel like it's easy, and try and, you know, get your mind in that kind of space rather than feeling all tense and anxious about it, because it'll sound then tense and anxious. So I'm going to show you one more little way of looking at this tune, which is a little bit more like what's on the record. So this is definitely way beyond beginner stuff, but as I've mentioned before, I try and give you some more advanced ideas in these beginner lessons so that you can kind of grow with the song, and as you progress you can start adding more fun things into the tunes. So this one, if we start by putting our first finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, okay, and we play the open A string, okay, the open 5th string. We play those 2 strings together with a down strum, so from the 5th fret and the 5th string and 4th string rather. Okay, the underneath of the first finger will mute those thinner strings, okay, so we'll just hear those 2 notes. And then you put 3rd finger down the 7th fret of the 4th string. So 1 and 1 and. Hitting the open A string both times. Then you're going to play the open A string twice more, and then the same thing again. And we're going to add a little bit of palm mute too, so using that outside part of our hand, just lightly touching the strings. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we change this little really cool D9 chord. Okay, again, this is more advanced if you're a beginner. Please don't go try and spend too much time on this. It's not really going to hurt much if you have a little go, but I don't recommend it because it can be a bit disheartening if you feel like you can't do it. But this funky D9, you put your 2nd finger in the 5th fret of the 5th string, 1st finger in the 4th fret of the 4th string, 3rd finger in the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and open B and E strings, open thinnest 2 strings. Okay, that would be, it's kind of a D9 I guess, or a D13. It could have a few different names depending on how you want to perceive it. So if you're going to get into doing that, it's just a little bit more like the record. It works on electric guitar possibly more than acoustic, but you get this. Just a little bit of a fun thing to have a go at for more advanced players. Again, if you start with that and then get your ears out and have a good listen to the track, see if you can pick out some other little bits as well, because using your ears to work out stuff is a really very big deal. The better you get on the guitar, the more you want to focus on that kind of thing. So I hope you have a lot of fun with this tune, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons and songs very soon. Go and check out the website, JustinGuitar.com. See you soon and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.